Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day today. If you're new here, welcome. In today's video, we are going to be comparing the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette to the Ucanbe Magic Spell palette, which is so far as I know, is the only dupe anyone ever came out with. And oh my, it is a really good dupe. The outside of the Venus XL2 palette, as you can see, is pink. The girl has green hair, some oranges on the tree behind her, and some gold columns and gold letters. Now, when you open it, inside again, you have a lot of gold going on. And then you have these beautiful shades. There is orange and there is green, but much more muted than the picture on the front would suggest. So these are really beautiful muted greens and mauves with a little bit of orange, not too much. I would say that all of the shades are really special. There's nothing much here that you would see in any neutral palette, yet they are actually quite neutral shades. There's not too many matte shades in this palette. As a matter of fact, there is only 4 in Bloom, Sad, Ripe and Classical. The darkest shade in the palette is also the shade Classical. If you want to darken up anything, you will need to use this darker brown shade. There is no black, there is no matte white here. There is one color that appears to be white. It's called Radiant, but actually once you swatch it, it turns into a white gold shade. So it is not white. There is no white, no gray, no black in here. This, in my opinion, is a perfect autumn eyeshadow palette, and also it is really different, and I love that. I know a lot of people don't like green eyeshadows. I do love them. My favorite eyeshadows are actually gray and green colors. My all-time favorite eyeshadow palette before this was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette, simply because the color theme, in my opinion, is just so similar, with all of these like greens and burgundies. Like, I don't know, but I just love colors like this. I feel like with my green eyes, these colors just look really stunning. This eyeshadow palette is made in USA. It's cruelty free and vegan. It has 12 months shelf life and it contains more than 26 grams of product. So it does contain significantly more product than the dupe does. However, it is significantly more expensive as well. It is £56, which is quite expensive. This and my Huda Beauty palette, they are both £56. They are the two most expensive eyeshadow palettes I own. And as you can see, it's definitely much bigger than the Huda Beauty palette. Now, the Magic Spell palette looks like this. As you can see, it does look quite similar. It doesn't have any gold going on a part of the name, but obviously these colors all around, they are supposed to be gold. They're just not made gold. Otherwise, the pink is a very similar shade of pink, and it's called a Magic Spell palette because the eyeshadow palette is made to look like a little magic book, which is just so cute. This eyeshadow palette is made in the People's Republic of China. It also has 12 months shelf life, just like the Lime Crime palette did, and it is also cruelty free. However, like I said, it contains significantly less product. Every single shade is 1 gram and you have 18 shades, meaning you have 18 grams of product in here, so it is 8 grams less than the other eyeshadow palette. The number of the shades is the same, so you just simply get a little bit less of each shade. I'm gonna insert a quick video for you to show you how all of the shades look compared to the Lime Crime palette, and as you will be able to see, some of the shades are extremely similar, but then you also get these odd shades that are not in the Lime Crime palette, and I think the reason for that could just be that they don't want to be sued by Lime Crime. So for example, you have this shade Bewitchment, which is actually a shade that is very welcome in this palette. It's a nude camel kind of, I'm not even sure, a cool toned brown shade. It's very, very beautiful. You have nothing like this in the Lime Crime palette though. And then you also have the shade Black Magic, which is a very, very nice green shade. On the other hand, this palette is missing some shades, obviously, that the Lime Crime palette has. However, those shades weren't the best quality shades anyway, because they were almost like topper shades, not pigmented and not opaque. The shades I'm talking about is Crown and Thorn. And whilst this palette has a lot of really, really beautiful shimmery shades, and like they're really pigmented and opaque and just beautiful, I want to show you these two quickly. So as soon as you swatch them, you see they're like really strange. There's not a lot going on, not what you would expect from a shimmery shade. And then you swatch them and you hardly get anything. So I don't really mind that the Magic Spare palette got rid of those shades, because, you know, why replicate something that's not really working in the first place? So yeah, I actually do really like this Magic Spare palette. It is significantly cheaper. You can purchase it for around £7 or £8 on Amazon, eBay. It's a really, really good palette. You will need to wait obviously a little bit to receive it because you are buying it from China, but the quality of it is amazing. Like I said, it's just really, really good. The eyeshadow looks I created today, one of them was using this eyeshadow palette, and not the one that you would think. So I actually found that as much as I love the Venus XL2 palette, the dupe performed better, because this is the look that was created using the dupe, and this was created using the original. And I don't know, I think the dupe just looks so much better. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm just gonna jump right into this tutorial. I'm gonna compare these two palettes by, you know, applying them on the eye. Obviously I won't be able to use all of the shades. As you can see, this is a very simple eye makeup look. So because of that reason, I inserted for you the swatches. But all in all, what I can say is that they're both really, really good palettes. I do need to give some credit to Lime Crime for creating this eyeshadow palette in the first place, for coming up with this color story, because I think it's just so beautiful and so special. And you know, I almost feel like sometimes we consider the price, we consider the quality, and we just run with the dupe. But you need to bear in mind that Lime Crime has a lot of people working on this color story, on how they want the palette to look like, you know, working out these colors, how they will work with each other. And then companies like Ucanbe, yes, it is cheap, it's a great price point and it works amazing, so of course I will tell you to go and buy it, but they kind of just steal the idea from the original creator. And so I do want to give credit for creating this eyeshadow palette to Lime Crime, but I must say that the Ucanbe palette is really good. It's really on par with what you get from the original palette, and it is really just a fraction of the price. So sadly, I will have to tell you that I feel like the Magic Spare palette is just as good or better. But this palette is so beautiful and I just appreciate what Lime Crime did with it. There is absolutely no way I'm gonna get rid of this palette. So you will definitely see me using this in the future. I absolutely love this palette, and honestly the quality is really, really good. So I will probably buy more eyeshadow palettes from Lime Crime in the future once I have any money, because right now I'm not buying any makeup. I'm focusing on honeymoon and finishing the house. Anyway, back to the topic. So I'm definitely keeping this palette. You will definitely see me using this palette, and at some point when I have money, I will definitely buy more eyeshadow palettes from Lime Crime. So I'm really happy with this purchase, but you will see in the video. Let's just jump right into it. Instead of using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, I used my L'Oreal Infaillable concealer today. The reason being is because I always see a lot of girls just putting concealer all over their eyelid, and I wanted to test that out today. So all over, from right under my eyebrows to my whole eyelid, I just applied this concealer with a small brush like this, and I didn't set it with anything yet, so we're gonna use the eyeshadows to set the concealer. I'm gonna be using the more expensive high-end palette on this side of the face, which is today gonna be the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette, and a more affordable palette on this side of the face, which is today going to be the Ucanbe Magic Spell palette. And just to set this, I'm gonna take the shade In Bloom, which is one of the very few matte shades in this palette. I'm just gonna take some on my brush and start applying it to the crease. I really enjoy this Lime Crime palette so far. I think the shades are very blendable and very unique. All of the shades in this palette are so neutral and wearable. I'm actually very surprised that Urban Decay didn't come up with a naked palette with a similar color theme yet. So as you can see, I first applied this shade to the crease, and now I'm kind of just blending it upwards and downwards, just diffusing it all over the lid. And the same shade in the Magic Spell palette is called Phantasmal. I have no idea what that means, but it's probably something magic related. And like I said, we're gonna be doing the exact same thing on this side. Just first apply the shade to the crease and then start diffusing it. This one looks quite muted in the pan, but once you apply it to the eye, it actually looks a lot more pink. Yeah, so I can definitely see the difference between these two shades. If I was only wearing this one, I think people would be able to tell that it's not the same color on the two eyes. Otherwise, it's really easy to blend, and you can definitely build it up. So I'm gonna work on this one again now using the same shade called In Bloom, and I'm just gonna work on really building up the color. Yeah, this one definitely has more purple and gray to it than Phantasmal does. Such a beautiful color. I really love this shade. We're not going to be using a tons of colors from the palette, but you could probably tell which shades are similar and which ones are not that similar based on the swatches I inserted earlier on. You can probably make up your mind based on that, and I must say that overall the quality of the shades in the Magic Spell palette is quite consistent, so you don't need to worry about, oh, she's using all the good quality colors and the other pens are gonna be rubbish. I felt like the quality is quite consistent, so if you like the performance of the Magic Spell palette in this video, you will probably like the overall performance as well. If you've seen any other Ucanbe video from me, you probably know by now that the Ucanbe dupe palettes are extremely good. I really love them, and I keep recommending them to my friends as well. I keep telling them to go and get some. I think I built up this shade as much as I wanted. I added some under my eye as well. So now I'm gonna jump back into the Magic Spell palette and do the same. So I'm gonna take some more of the shade Phantasmal, and I'm just gonna try to achieve the same thing on this side as well. Let's see if we can. I think we can. The color, like I said, is gonna look more pink. There's definitely less gray and less purple, but otherwise the pigmentation is just as good. Okay, so now to clean up around this eyeshadow, I'm gonna take the shade Stella, which is not a shimmery but more like a silky color, and it has slight pink to it. It's definitely cool toned, so it's not like a gold shade, it's more like a silver shade. It's really, really beautiful, and I just take a little bit of that, and basically all I want to do is, well, on one hand highlight under my eyebrows, but also just blend that color because we don't want it to be like this harsh under the eyebrows. And the shade that's the most similar to this from the Magic Spell palette is the last shade in the first row, called Incantation. Although this one looks a little bit more gold, less silver. Okay, and now I'm gonna take a little bit more of this concealer and I'm going to create a half cut crease. Just super quickly. It's nothing you haven't seen on this channel before. Okay, and now that that's done, on the Venus side, I'm gonna take the shade Mystic and apply it to set the concealer. If you feel like this is not popping enough yet, don't worry, because we're gonna go back once again and we're gonna add some oomph to it. But first I wanna set this one as well. I cleaned my brush already, and we're gonna take the shade Lightning Bolt. Overall, the shade itself is really similar, but this one definitely has slightly more sheen to it. Now to enhance this cut crease a little bit, I'm gonna take a really tiny brush, take the shade In Bloom again and just run through the edge of that. And now the same thing on the other side using the shade Phantasmal. So this is how it looks so far. So far I feel like the Ucanbe palette actually looks better. Now I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna take the darkest shade called Classical and basically just use some of that shade to darken up my outer corner. Okay, let's see the other side. On the other side, the darkest shade is called Evil. Okay, this color is definitely not as pigmented as the shade Classical in the Lime Crime palette. Is it just me, or does the Ucanbe side actually looks a lot better? I don't know why, I just feel like there's just a bigger contrast. The color is exactly where I wanted it to be. My eye looks bigger, the look is more dramatic. Okay, moving on, I'm gonna take the shade Eve, which is a really interesting shade. It's a duochrome shade that starts out as Dusty Rose and it has a purplish blue duochrome to it. So I'm gonna take that shade and I want to put that shade where the dark and the light meets. And I will do the same on the Ucanbe side. This shade is called Cure. Oh my god, why does the Ucanbe side look so much better? Honestly, I really prefer how this side turned out. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this razor sharp liner from Urban Decay. This is a silver one, it's the shade Cuff. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically run a line at the edge of that cut crease on both sides because I wanna emphasize that line and I want to be able to tell if the difference between the two eyes is simply the contrast not being good enough on this side or what the hell it is. So I'm gonna go off camera, I'm gonna do that line, and then I'm gonna do some lipstick, and I'm gonna be back. Okay, so as you guys can see, I finished my makeup. I added some lipstick and eyeliner, mascara, all that. And I also added that silver Urban Decay Razor Sharp Liner that I was talking about. And now after adding that, I definitely feel like the two sides look much more similar, but still not quite the same. And for the first time ever, I actually do prefer the dupe side, which is crazy. I just feel like it looks better. The colors stand out more. I don't know if it was just these specific colors I chose. Not every color does that. Not every color performs better than the Lime Crime version does. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, what do you think about these two palettes. Like I said, obviously not all shades will be the same. You're gonna have different performance, but overall I feel like the quality, pigmentation, the color payoff of the Magic Spell palette is quite consistent. I don't feel like there's any particularly bad shade in here. They're all really good. So if you always wanted to pick up something like this because you're interested in the color theme, but you cannot afford the Lime Crime palette, then definitely give this guy a chance. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here. And until next time, take care of yourself. I will see you very soon. Bye.